to left center field. Back it goes and gone. The 0-2 pitch. He struck him out swinging at 101. Swinging a drive, left field and deep. Back it goes and gone. And the Twins walk it off again.
Well, we have come to the end of the road for our appearances with Cory Provus each and every Friday, which I hate to say that because that means the baseball season is nearing an end, and the Twins season obviously came to an end on Sunday with a loss to the Phillies, and then the news that came Monday that may not have shocked some fans with the dismissal of Rocco Baldelli as Cory makes his final appearance with us. His appearance is brought to us each and every Friday by Welton's Tire Service. All right, my man, I guess informed baseball fans probably aren't surprised. I will ask you, though, as the broadcaster of the team, were you surprised about the dismissal?
No, I'm not. Not surprised. I mean, disappointed, but not surprised, Dom, just because he missed the playoffs for the last 5 years, the way the last 2 seasons have gone. You don't fire players in this game, and sadly, this is how this works. So I wasn't shocked by the news, but yeah, sad and disappointed because I got to know Rocco pretty well these last 7 years, and certainly on the radio side, my daily interaction with him. I mean, I had interaction with him daily when I was doing TV, but still, doing the radio show with him every day, you develop a relationship pretty quickly, and you get to know who they are more than just their title. You get to know them as a citizen, as a father, as a husband, and a friend. And so I'll miss him. I'll certainly miss not having Rocco around.
You know, Derek Falvey had the press conference on Tuesday and consistently said it was a collaboration. It's hard, though, and we've talked about this over the last few months after the decisions at the deadline to me, it's hard to go out and win when you take 10 guys off the roster. And I understand when you lose 90 games, you mentioned it, somebody's got to take the fall on that. But it's like the chicken and the egg deal. Like I don't know how to field a winning team when you trade all my best guys at July 31.
Yeah, and I don't think this decision was made a month ago. I think this was kind of how this was trending. And certainly Rocco, he did not have a great chance, I think, to succeed these last 2 months, just based on everything that we saw take place at the end of July. When you trade off 40% of your roster and your top 5 bullpen pieces, good luck. I mean, good luck, trying to win. And I think the Twins finished with the worst record post All-Star break of any team in the game. So, yeah, I think that's a fair argument to be made. But again, I hate to repeat myself. This is how this works. So the manager is often the one on the chopping block, and when you miss the playoffs 4 out of 5 years, that's going to happen.
Did you get a sense it was not necessarily a formality, just being around the team the last weekend in Philly, that there was something ominous coming?
No, I mean, Derek Falvey joined the team in Philadelphia. Jeremy Zoll was on the whole trip, but I don't think that's unusual. I think Derek wanted to be there at the end just to kind of see it through, and I don't think that was too surprising. I didn't know how this was going to go. I was often asked throughout the second half by opposing broadcasters and writers and what are my thoughts, and I thought it was 50-50. I mean, I really that's where I was leaning this whole time, because of what you just said, Dom, is fair. I mean, the side to back Rocco is that, was he even given a chance these last 2 months to truly succeed based on the roster that he had? No, I don't think you can say that. But I think it's just a collection of things, and I think it's the result based not just on a 2-month sample, but based on the last couple of seasons. And this is what these guys sign up for. I mean, it's rare that managers have these incredible runs like they used to, and the Twins still, going back to 1986, have had, 4 managers? Yeah. It's remarkable. It's remarkable that they've had that kind of stability, the last 40 years, that they've only had 4 managers is really something.
I think, honestly, the job he did, you won the division the first year managing the Bomba Squad team of 2019. The team in 2023 was highly entertaining to watch, and obviously they ended the playoff drought. How will his tenure, in your mind, be remembered?
I think he is somebody that he really let the players do their own thing. And I don't think he was in their face too much. And I think he was somebody that he delegated a lot. He was one that if you asked him about pitching, he'd be like, I don't really focus on that. I let Pete Mackey and the pitching team and Wes Johnson and Colby Suggs and Josh Ruffin. I mean, he would say, I let the pitching guys do that. If you'd ask him about hitting, he would offer a little bit more insight into certain swings. But again, he would let, whether it was David Popkins, whether it was Matt Borgschulte, Trevor Amicone, Rudy Hernandez, he would let the hitting guys do their thing. So he really let the coaches coach. And he spent a lot of time on lineups. I mean, that was something when Rocco, his routine on the road was he would go get coffee somewhere on the road and he'd be there for a long time. He'd find these, boutique coffee shops in towns. He had some favorites of his, but he wasn't going to Starbucks or Caribou. He was going to like locally owned coffee shops, and he would spend his time there doing lineups. And that was something he put his attention on. Paul Molitor was different. Paul would be somebody that he went into his office. He'd have film on and video on of the opposing pitcher that night, trying to see if there were any little tells he could pick up on. Was he tipping anything? And then Molly would often take some balls, some baseballs, and going to Chicago, going to Cleveland at home plate, he'd roll baseballs up the first and third base line just in case the guys were going to bunt. He wanted to see how the ball was going to roll. So every manager had their different thing, but Rocco really spent his time on lineup construction. But again, early on, going back to that first year, the players all said collectively, he really lets us do our thing. The whole idea of batting practice being optional, that was new to me, and that was new to a lot of guys. And I think early on, the players really enjoyed that style.
I have to ask now, as we look ahead, does a connection to the team, a past anything, is that necessary or mandatory in your mind to be the next manager of the Twins?
No, I don't think it's mandatory. What I do wonder is, and look, Rocco played. I just wonder about the next staff that comes in. I think they're looking for more major league experience. I think that was missing at times where it was, players were going to Morneau, to Perkins, heck, to Plouffe, to Hawk. I mean, and Hawk's around the team a lot with his other role. I think that's kind of missing here a little bit, that I think they might be seeking more coaches that played. And I think just somebody that can relate to what these guys are going through, especially during some down times. If guys are just not in a good way, mentally, physically, to be able to lean on guys that have been there and done that. I wonder this next cycle if we'll see more of that.
You think this is a quick hire, and there's necessarily, you have to be on, like, it's not football, where especially college football, where you got to hire somebody right away. Is this something that goes till the winter meetings or in mid-November? What's your gut on when they hire somebody?
Yeah, I would say by, whenever the GM meetings and owners meetings, when all that stuff starts, that's always the second, third week in November. I would imagine that this thing is buttoned up in about a month or so. But again, they might want to talk to people that are on active staffs right now. And so, look, I can speak from personal experience here. When the Twins hired me, it was after I was with Milwaukee in 2011. We were in the playoffs that year, and they were kind enough to wait for my season to end before interviewing me. And I would imagine that there are going to be some candidates that are on active playoff rosters right now that are busy with their day jobs here. Can they squeeze in an interview, I think, between rounds? Sure. But in terms of, getting that person in town, and I'm sure there's going to be multiple rounds of this process, that might not happen until that coach and that coach's team, that season ends. So I think we'll learn, and this stuff leaks out. The team will ask for permission to speak with X, Y, and Z, and Dan Hayes and, the writers, Bob Nightingale, and I think Ken Rosenthal, Jeff Passan, they seem to always have the no on this. So we'll see those names kind of leak out that so-and-so has asked for permission to speak with, this staff member. So, but I'm not dead set that it has to be somebody that has been a Twin, has really been invested into Twins territory. I don't think that's I don't think that's a necessity. I think it's great if it does happen that way, but I don't think it's a necessity.
Does Rocco manage in 2026 in your mind?
No, I don't think so. I think he's got 3 young kids, and heck, the Twins picked up his option for next year.
Yeah.
So he's getting compensated. I think for him to just sit back and he's got kids. I mean, his 3 kids are probably 5 and under. I mean, 4 and under. I mean, he's got twin boys and his daughter. I would imagine that he is really excited. He's got this really nice house in Rhode Island that took years to build this thing. I don't know what took so long, but it took a long time. I would imagine that he's going to enjoy that. He loves music. I think he would love to go see some Fish shows somewhere, go see some soccer matches somewhere, and really lock in with his family. I mean, if that's what he wants to do, great. But it wouldn't shock me if he just unplugs for a little bit and really gets back into his family for a year.
A couple more minutes here with Cory and his final appearance with us in 2025. I'm interested, starting rotation-wise, if the Twins decide to move from Joe Ryan and Pablo Lopez, or one of the two, what does it look like in 2026, in your opinion?
Well, the way the last week went, I'm somewhat encouraged. I thought the last week, I mean, it's a small – again, it's a week, but
right.
I give all the credit to Simeon Woods-Richardson and the second half he had and the finish he had, because I had my doubts about him. Is he a bullpen guy? What's his role going to be? He got better.
Mm-hmm.
He got better. He got stronger. And that splitter was a much better pitch for him than the changeup was. I feel much better about the ceiling and the potential for Simeon Woods-Richardson now than I did 3 or 4 months ago. There's certainly a foundation there with Mick Abel, with his velocity and his stuff. Taj Bradley too. They've got some power arms. It's not like the cabinet is empty here. And remember the division they play in.
Yeah.
And I keep reminding people of that. You don't need to win 98 games to win this division. And the starting staff, I feel okay about. It's the hitting. That's kind of where I'm at here, because there's too many guys underperformed offensively. Yeah. And there are so many stats in our game, you can get lost into them. But I know that one stat in particular that we reference on the broadcast a lot that I think is a good one to really study is WRC plus. And 100 is league average. How many runs are you producing for your team in terms of league average? And if you're 100, you're average. So they had too many guys. They were either 102, 101, 98, 99, and then some other guys that were in the 80s. That can't work.
Yep.
I mean, you need your studs, and Buxton was great, and Keyshaw was great, but you need your guys. You need more guys to be 125, 130, and there's first-round talent here that just needs to take a step up and needs to produce. So that, to me, is more of the concern that I have about how they look and how they play. It's more offensive to me, Dom, than it may be on the pitching side.
A couple minutes left here. I'm interested your thoughts that Cleveland has this unbelievable comeback, historic one, and then they're out in 3. And I know that's the format we're at. The Tigers go and win 2 out of 3 on the road to move on. How do you feel? I mean, it's 6 months, and I know the Guardians played their best ball the last 2, and the Tigers clearly didn't. Do you feel good about it? I don't know how to feel about it this morning after what went down yesterday.
I mean, the Tigers were a great team. The Tigers for 4 months,
were
4.5
really
months,
awesome.
were one of the best teams in baseball. I mean,
Yep.
they were a great team, right? And they got cold at the worst possible time. At the same time, it took something. It wasn't just that Cleveland was hot, Dom. They did something historic.
Yeah.
I mean, the largest comeback ever to win a league or win a division is what we saw the Guardians do. So I look at this season like Cleveland. Bravo. I don't know if A.J. Hinch lost the Manager of the Year award based on how they finished. Did Stephen Vogt elevate his case? John Schneider, with Toronto being the 1 seed, finally figured things out with all that talent that they had. It's a talk. I think the National League, Pat Murphy is going to win that, and a landslide will be back-to-back winner in that category. But we could see a repeat. We could see that, both Stephen Vogt and Pat Murphy win it again in back-to-back years. But I still look at Cleveland's season as a big success. I mean, they lost Emmanuel Clase. to a gambling suspension.
Yep.
Dominant closer, and yet still there they go. They lost a starter, gambling, Luis Ortiz. Okay, they trade Shane Bieber. I didn't see that coming at all.
Yeah.
And Jose Ramirez, Hall of Famer, phenomenal player. I look at Cleveland's season as a massive success. I look at the Tigers doing what they were expected to do. They were one of the best teams in baseball. They've got the best pitcher in the game. They cannot lose school starts in the postseason, especially these shorter rounds. I mean, they've got to win those school games. And it's going to be a great matchup because Skubal is from that area in Seattle. That's pretty cool to have him. I'm curious if he's going to go game one or not because he'll be going one day short because he went Tuesday, so his fifth day would be Sunday. Yeah. Do they go school? Because if you go Skubal game, I think you have to. Because I think in a short series, best out of 5.
You get that first one.
You need him twice.
Yep.
And I think you just cannot lose Skubal starts.
Yep. Before we go, first off, I want to say thank you again for doing this. You give our viewers so much great stuff, and it's a joy to do this each and every Friday. So the last 6 months has just been a blast, and I really hope we can do it again in 2026. Are you unplugged now? Are you watching any? Or are you done? I'm done. I'm done with baseball till next February. I
did watch yesterday because of the Jewish holiday. We just had time, and so I did. We did watch yesterday. I mean, I did watch the Cub game because I was really invested with. Cooper and I were really invested. I was really locked in on that yesterday, and I am very much looking forward to this Cubs Brewers series here in the next round. Yeah. I'll really watch that, but it's not. I'm not doing it. Other games, other series with intent. If it's on, it's on. But if there's other things going on, I'm doing other things. But that Cubs Brewers series certainly has. I'm very much interested in that, and I just Euchre's watching this Milwaukee team, and I think Milwaukee's season would be disappointing if they get bounced in this round. Mm-hmm. How well they've been the best team in baseball, the best story in baseball, but can this advance? Can this run in October? This style is going to be fascinating. I think they have the better team, but that crowd is going to be awesome. I mean, you're going to see a whole lot of Cub fans there because if you're from the north side of the city, getting to Milwaukee is a heck of a lot easier than getting to Wrigley Field. And that's where I grew up. My wife grew up. And so getting up there with all that ample parking, there's a reason why they call it, Wrigley Field North up there. I mean, it really can be a Cub crowd, but man, those Brewer fans are awesome. So I'm really much looking forward to that series.
Thanks so much, Bud, for doing this again. It was a blast. We've had 2 great years of doing it. Have a great off season, and we'll talk to you next spring, okay?
All right, Dom, thank you. Enjoyed it each and every week, and great questions and great to interact with you via Zoom here, and I hope that the listeners had as much fun as I did.
They had a blast, Bud. Thanks again, man. Be well. We'll talk soon.
All right, Dom.
There he goes. Cory Provus joining us for the last time in 2025. His appearance is brought to us by Weldon's Tire Service. We appreciate them sponsoring his segment because it's been dynamite each and every Friday. We'll break. We come back. We'll wrap up our first hour. Big second hour coming is on the Football Friday edition of Hot Mic. Rolls on WDAY Extra. We're back right after this.